What is water? It's at the beach, lakes, ponds, rivers. Even our body is made up 70% of water. Water is the source of our life. It is essential to every living thing that lives in our planet. Without water, our world would be a failure. And we are already failing. Our rivers, lakes, seas are drowning in chemical waste, plastic, and other pollutants that affect all living things. Our water isn't pure and clean anymore. Yet, while we all know water is crucial for life, we trash it anyway. Some 80% of world's wastewater is dumped largely untreated back into the environment, polluting rivers, lakes, and oceans. This widespread problem of water pollution is jeopardizing our health. Unsafe water kills more people each year than war and all other forms of violence combined. Meanwhile, our drinkable water sources are finite. Less than 1% of the Earth's fresh water is actually accessible to us without action. The challenges will only increase by 2050 when global demand of fresh water is expected to be one-third greater than it is now. Water infested with waste ranging from floating plastic bags to chemical waste, our water bodies have turned into a pool of poison. The contamination of water bodies, in the simplest word, means water pollution. Thereby, the abuse of lakes, ponds, oceans, rivers is water pollution. Pollution of water occurs when substances that will modify the water in negative fashion are discharged in it. This discharge of pollutants can be direct as well as indirect. One of the causes of water pollution is the industrial waste. Many industries do not have proper waste management system and drain the waste in fresh water, which goes into rivers, canals, and later into sea. The toxic chemicals have the capability to change the color of water, increase the amount of minerals, also known as eutrophication, change the temperature of water, and pose serious hazard to water organisms. Water pollution is common and is an area of high alert. Water needs to be preserved and respected today for us to live tomorrow. Water pollution is leading worldwide cause of death and diseases that accounts more than 14,000 people deaths daily. Estimate 580 people in India died of water pollution-related illness every day. The head of China's National Development Agency said that a quarter of the length of China's 7 main rivers were so poisoned that water harms skin. Around 90% of water in the cities of China is polluted, and as of 2007, 500 million of Chinese had no safe drinking water in the most recent national report. Equality in the U.S., 45% of assessed stream miles, 47% of assessed from lake acres, and 32% of assessed bays were classified as polluted. In time, birds and land animals that eat fish will also starve and die off because the fish supply is dwindling. The more the water source is affected by contamination, the more likely it is to have an effect to the entire food chain. Pretty soon, water birds like pelicans and seagulls will start to die off, and land or water creatures like alligators will as well. There is so much more that relies on a source of water that just oh, the entire habitats and ecosystem are destroyed by water pollution. Water pollution is destroying whole ecosystem all over the world right now. Wetlands are disappearing because of sediment pollution, and the oceans are being heavily contaminated because of all the dumping of garbage and waste that happens there. The more we pollute our water supplies, the less likely we are continue seeing all different types of habitats and ecosystem that once exist on the planet. And when habitats go away, the animals that once lived there go away too, or they just have moved somewhere else. If this happens, the relocated animals quickly become an invasive species and may end up doing even more harm in their new location. Aquatic creatures can become trapped or injured by pollutants. You've probably already heard time and time again that sea turtles can get hurt by indigesting plastic bags floating in the oceans, or that fish and birds can get stuck in soda reels. This is all very true, but there's a lot more than just that. Trash flies floating in water can trap birds, fish, and other aquatic life and slowly suffocate or starve them. Garbage that is indigested by water creatures can quickly kill them or cause them serious harm. Some water-dwelling creatures have even seen known to have trash grow into their bodies or shells over time. This is the sad truth of the water polluted world we live in. There is so much to keep in mind when you're thinking about the problem of water pollution and how it affects aquatic life. This is an issue that we all need to be concerned with before it's going to affect us, and it has already begun to. Whether we realize it yet or not, if we don't do anything to solve the problem of water pollution now, aquatic life may be in serious trouble within the next 10 years. Entire species will disappear forever, and this will affect the food chain in such as many ways that will get back around to humans in no time. In many places, it already has, and there are some species of fish that humans have used for food in past that are no longer safe for consumption anymore. By making a few small changes in your life at home, at work, and in your community, you can start helping in the fight against water pollution worldwide. Garbage has become a serious problem in the world today. According to a report published in Nature Journal, the problem of garbage or solid waste is assuming terrible proportion today. By the end of 21st century, garbage will be collected at the rate of 11 million tons per day globally, more than 3 times rate today. Garbage pollution arises when the waste collected in dumping sites keeps rotting, spreading odor, and causes air pollution in the surrounding areas, which also creates problems at the administrative level. It is often seen that waste including inorganic material such as iron cans, paper, plastic, glass pieces, or leftover food, animal bones, vegetable peels are dumped in the open. In areas where people maintain milch animals, poultry, or other animals, their feces also pollute the atmosphere. Often fire breaks out of the dumps of garbage, deliberately or indeliberately. Air pollution also spreads when the garbage is burned in the open villages, thereby posing a grave threat to health and environment. In olden times, garbage generally comprises only organic waste which went into the ground, but the proportion of chemicals in the waste is increasing the hectic pace of modern development. In countries like Philippines, things used earlier as bags were not harmful. Earlier, the pottery was used for liquid substances and jute bags was used to carry goods. Now, the plastic has changed the situation and a problem has arisen with it because of the plastic never degrades. Its recycling is possible but there is no proper system to deposit it. In our country, the cities are getting reduced to dumping grounds of waste. Garbage is present everywhere in some form or other, whether there is a village or a city. Tungkol po sa drainage system, ilang months o weeks po para ma-maintain po?
Depende, kasi minsan pag laging tag-ulan, nagdidiklag kami. Kasi kami, sabi ko nga, nakwento ko sa inyo, itong lugar namin ay parang catch basin dahil mas mataas doon. Lahat ng tubig nila doon, dito padiretso. Kaya minsan, sa dami ng nakatambak na basura nila na itinatapon doon sa drainage system, nagbabara sa amin. Kaya kami ang bugbog na bugbog pagdeklaging. Siguro sa loob ng kailan lang, nagdeklag kami ng 5 beses sa loob ng quarter. 5 beses nagdeklag kami. Halos lahat ng iskinita namin dinideklag kasi yung mga kabarangay namin nagreklamo dahil umaakyat daw yung tubig sa bahay nila. That means isa rin sila sa nagtatapon doon sa butas. Kung wala yung tinatapon nila doon, hindi madidiklag dahil malalim yung mga na ginawa ng drainage system dito eh. Problema na plywood, kahoy, sa loob ng drainage system. Ganun lang yun. Nakukuha yung papel o yung plastic, alam hindi natutunaw yun. Mas mahirap yung pag nakukuha yung mga lupa. Mas marami kaming nadidiklag pag lupa. Lupa kasi means yung mga lupa nila doon natatangay, di ba? Dahil nga natataan ng tubig. Pumapasok doon sa drainage system. Umaangat ngayon yung system, yung drainage system namin. Dapat malalim, iniibabaw ngayon. Pag dumating yung mga lalong nababara. Pero mas marami kami nakukuha ng lupa.
So, malaking factor po ba talaga yung pagkakawalan po ng disiplina ng mga tao sa...
Malaking factor yun.
So, ano po kayo mga magandang solusyon po para mabawas-bawasan naman po yung mga
Meron kaming pinapatupad ngayon sana na tutuloy-tuloy namin. Meron kaming ngayon sinasabi namin ng aming environmental committee, yung aming chairman, na kasama yung aming kapitan, Jerry Apostol, na magkakaroon kami ng sinabi namin, linis mo, tapat mo, para yung basura nila ay hindi pumunta dun sa drainage system. Pangalawa, nag-effort din kami dahil dito lang nakastay put yung nakastay stationary lang yung basura eh. Gusto namin ipasok sa loob ng gitna namin mismo para doon yung mga tao magtapon agad-agad within the 3-day period of a week. Para lang yung basura namin, yung mga basura nila, hindi magstay put sa gilid. Minsan, bata patatapunin, Pagtapon ng bata, hindi na wala na yung truck, iiwan na doon. Pag iwan na doon, eto na ulan, eto na si o kaya tatadya ka na lang doon. Tapon na doon.
This problem has been increasing since the last nearly 3 decades, leading to health issue and degradation of environment. Today, we are victims of many types of waste including domestic, agricultural, industrial waste. Every year, tons of waste or garbage are produced in the country, and only 1% of it is recycled. The rest either accumulates in the fields or in the streets, and in the end, during the rainy season, it reaches the ocean through rivers. There are many reasons of the production of garbage. One reason for this is growing urbanization and prosperity. The more financially strong is the country or the city, the more garbage it will produce. It can also be seen by liking linking poverty and prosperity, competence and inefficiency. This means where the aspiration for the amenities are high in population, there will also be increase in the amount of waste. Today, China, Philippines, and India are the prominent examples of this in the world. Both are taking strides in economic development, but in the process, they are also producing piles of garbage. Other reasons for this include changing lifestyle, lack of waste management and option, and also the big question of the ethics that is fast eroding. We assume that it is our compulsion to produce garbage and its disposal is the work of government. Perhaps this is where we're making the biggest mistake.